Welcome to What's That Pen, helping you find your next perfect pen. My name is Arneill, and today we are looking at the Artline Stix markers. These now are available in a pack of 20. I've had these for a while, so I have the old, it's almost like antique now, 16 pack, but it's pretty much the same thing. I will tell you I have never used these pens, so there's that. At least you know that this is still a new experience for me. The pack just looks a little beat up because it has been sitting in my closet for a while. So let's look at them together. The pack of 20 is about $24, though the price of these does seem to vary. So if you're set on these pens, keep an eye out for the best price that you can find. So that has this at $1.20 per pen. It's not the most expensive pen that we've looked at, but it's also not the cheapest. So there is a 14 pack or a 20 pack now. And of course I have the 16 pack. So that at one point also was an option. Now these look like they have been marketed towards children. It has that they're washable from most clothes. On the back, you can attach them. There are these characters that come along with the Artline Stix. You can go here to learn more about the characters. But then I think that people who are into brush lettering started to pick these up. So I don't know how much they've moved away from that, but I know that brush lettering people use these as well. So the ink type is not archival safe, not waterproof, none of those things. I mean, if you start to draw on your shirt, good news, it'll wash out. That just means that you don't want to use these for any projects that you want to last or, be okay if it gets wet. These would not be your first choice because they are washable. All right, it's time to open them up and get the 16 colors out. So those look pretty normal. That's what I would expect. And then we have these as well. All right, so looking at the colors, I see the regular sort of rainbow situation happening here. And then it looks like we have quite a few of the optional green, blue, and purple, the cool colors. There's about double the number of those than there are the warm colors. And then we have a brown, black, gray, and peach colors. So pretty much what you would expect with a basic color palette. Let's take a look at the pens. Now, the first thing that I notice, and this is part of their sales gimmick, is that there are these bumps and holes along the side, kind of like octopus tentacles and Lego. And you will feel those as you are writing. So if you don't love that tactile experience, probably not the pen for you. Now it also has this really long barrel that the pen lid attaches into. So you can sort of shift your hand up if you don't want to have to hold on to that. But that being said, holding my fingers there, it's almost like they're too close to the tip. I need a little bit more space to get away from that tip, but maybe I'll just get used to it. Now these have a felt nib, which felt very flexible. Let's see how they go on the upstrokes and downstrokes here. I can't even tell which side is the top and which is the bottom. All right, that's gonna be fun while using them. So a thin upstroke and a thick downstroke. Oh. I missed that little bit because you almost don't feel the upstrokes. In order to feel the upstrokes, they need to be more like that thick rather than the thinness I was trying to get there. So we do get nice variety between the upstrokes and downstrokes. This is also a super rich color, which can be really nice to see. It gives you really good contrast between the white of your page and then the dark color of the actual ink. Your thick line is nice and thick, and it makes that Sharpie noise as you write with it. And the thin line is not ultra thin, but for the thickness that you see, it makes sense. They're still in relation to one another. Let's look at our nib rebound. See, I'm trying to open the wrong side again. This is gonna be really frustrating. For your nib rebound, we're checking this out by going up and down and then seeing if we have a flex to the tip. And we have a very, very slight flex, not that much at all. And I was using quite a bit of pressure. So it's nice to see that the nib rebounds very well. For the writing size, seeing how thick the downstrokes were and also how thick the upstrokes are, that lets me know that these are going to need to be used for large writing. Very large, I would say. We're not going to be able to get very many words onto a single page, so keep that in mind that you are going to need to scale up your writing in order to make it look good with these markers. And again, so the fact that there is very little difference between the lid and the base is going to be frustrating for me and might also be frustrating for you. I know it's a little thing, but I want to be able to pick up my pen and not have to think about which side is the pen and which side is the cap. Okay, let's look at our juiciness. Coloring the cup in and smudging. So these are quite wet, which means that there's a lot of ink down on the page, and it also takes a little bit longer for that ink to dry. If you're left-handed, these are probably not a good option for you because that was quite a bit of pullover that came with that finger swipe. Let's look at our ease of transition next to see how easy it is to go from an upstroke to a downstroke. That time I got the pen right. So from an upstroke to a downstroke and then back to an upstroke and the other direction. It was relatively easy. One thing that you will notice looking at it closer, and this is something that happens often with larger size pens or ones that are a little bit on the floppy side, is that you get these little indents here rather than having a smooth curve on the inside. Then here we had a smooth curve on the inside, but those indents on the outside. If you're a lefty, you're probably going to get it on the exact opposite sides of those curves, but it does mean that you're going to really have to slow down and watch your transition. So on a scale of yay, okay, nay, or stay away, I'd say that they're sort of in the in-between zone between okay and nay. Oak nay, is that a thing? Oak nay, there we go. Right in between there, you're just gonna have to use a lot more control when you use the markers. Keep that in mind and make sure that you're scaling up. You might even have to go back and touch up a little bit, but it's not something that I would say is out of the realm of possibility for you to use and have success with. My opinion is really up in the air about these Artline Stix. As I was going to do the writing for this page here, by the time that I had finished writing the one word, I actually had marks from this on my hand. And I said out loud, oh, my hand is hurting. That's not an ideal experience when you're lettering. However, then I tried gripping it like a little kid would grip the pen, like this. And it actually feels good to have that sort of tactile experience on the inside of the pen. So I understand why it would have it there if it's designed for a child. That being said, it is rather uncomfortable if you're using it for brush lettering. So keep that in mind that this would be good for a very young child, someone you don't want to encourage to use proper pincer grip. So probably someone under the age of 2. However, looking at the box, it says that these should not be used by children from the ages of 0 to 3. So typically by 3, here's the teacher side coming out. You want them practicing a proper pincer grip, so this would not be ideal. Instead, you want them to be using a pen that would encourage them to hold their pen properly. Like many of the Stabilo markers that are out there, it would encourage a proper pincer grip without there being that tactile and unpleasurably tactile experience with a proper pincer grip. I do have to say though that I love the vibrancy of the colors. This is a really beautiful reddish purple. I was disappointed by the pink. The barrel of the pink says that it's going to be this gorgeous sort of bright flamingo pink, and it comes out very disappointing. So this one is not true to the barrel, whereas the others I found quite consistent with what I expected. There may be a little bit duller than the actual color that comes out, so it's like a happy surprise, but this was not a happy surprise. So I would say these are an okay pen for fun, but probably not one that I would go and pick up and actually use, especially over an extended period of time. You start to really feel those bumps, and not in a great way. I mean, it has quite a few nice color options, but you can find those in pens that don't hurt as you're using them. Yeah, I feel like that hurting just, that's a serious drawback. Now for these, you will have to write large. If you're a lefty, there's a very good chance that you're going to be smudging the pen. The fact that the transition is okay, like a lot of this, I feel like my face has been like this for a lot of what I've been saying because it's okay. You know, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt because I know a lot of people rave about these pens. But honestly, with the variety of pens that is out there, it probably shouldn't be your first choice. Look for other ones like the Prismacolor Scholar brush set that has very similar colors. It's a very similar size. The transition is a little bit easier and it feels nice in your hand, and that would be a better option. You might have to pay slightly more per pen for the Prismacolor Scholar set, but I would say that as a very comparable set, it is going to be one that you are going to get more use out of than these ones. I mean, these, it's a cute, kitschy idea that like you could attach them together, but how often are you actually going to attach two markers together and then do writing? Probably not that often. So I would say that unless you want to use these as a building material, as some sort of, you know, fun gimmicky type thing that you might not use on a regular basis, these are probably nothing more than a bit of a fad because they do stick together. Other than that, there are definitely better, more comfortable to use pens out there. Hey, if you stick 6 of them together, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's good, right? I mean, it's just too large to grab and your lettering might look a bit crazy, but we found a plus. So I would say in the end, the Artline Stix, probably not your best bet. And that's why we do pen reviews like this together, so that you don't have to waste your money on pens. I do. If you have another pen that you want me to test out, make sure you don't waste your money before you buy them. Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure that you check out the playlist for all of the many other pens that I reviewed, and I do have a stash more that I'm ready to review very soon. So subscribe, make sure that you don't miss a single one so that you don't waste any of your money on markers that might physically hurt you, or markers that you won't be absolutely over the moon to have added to your collection. Until next time, happy lettering.